You know what's interesting? In relationships, people often fear discussing problems. It's almost as if avoiding the conversation will magically make the issue disappear. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work like that. In fact, the lack of open communication can turn a minor inconvenience into a full-blown crisis. Today, let's talk about a few key strategies to address issues in a way that actually strengthens your relationship. As always, do it smart. Let's start with the most essential step. Key 1. This might be the simplest technique, yet it's one of the most crucial. Picture this. You and your partner are on edge. Voices are raised, emotions are running high. What should you do? Just say, let's take a break. Now, the pause isn't about avoiding the conversation. It's about creating space to find the right words and preventing a flood of hurtful remarks that can damage both you and your relationship. During this pause, you get the chance to calm down, reflect, and understand what's truly bothering you. Here's how you could phrase it. I'm really upset right now. Let's come back to this later. We're just arguing at this point. Let's take a break to avoid saying things we'll regret. But the real challenge is catching yourself before the words spill out. Once harsh remarks are said, they rarely help solve the problem. So, mastering this pause is all about learning to pause before it's too late. Key 2. Now that you've taken a break, how do you make the most of it? By looking inward. Self-reflection is the key to unlocking a deeper understanding of what you truly need. For example, instead of thinking, "You're ignoring me and it's unbearable," try asking yourself, "What exactly am I feeling? What need of mine isn't being met?" Ask yourself these questions. What's really bothering me in this situation? Why am I reacting so strongly to this? What solution do I see as the best outcome? By reflecting in this way, not only will you gain better insight into your own emotions, but you'll also prepare yourself for a more effective conversation. You'll be ready to communicate your thoughts clearly and constructively, setting the stage for a discussion that leads to real solutions. Key 3. So here's the thing about I statements. They're a game changer for healthy communication. They allow you to express your emotions and feelings without triggering unnecessary conflict. The formula is simple. I feel plus when you, for example, I feel frustrated when you forget my requests. Now, compare this to you statements, which often come across as accusations. Saying something like, "You make me unhappy," tends to sound like blame. I statements, on the other hand, focus on your personal experience rather than criticizing the other person. The beauty of this approach, it doesn't put the other person on the defensive. You're talking about your own feelings, which aren't up for debate. Instead of shifting responsibility for your emotions onto the other person, you take ownership of them. This sets the stage for a more constructive dialogue. Of course, let's be real. If your partner isn't ready to engage or listen, I statements alone won't magically fix everything, but they are a crucial step toward better understanding in any relationship. Key 4. True listening isn't just waiting for your turn to talk, it's about genuinely wanting to understand the other person. In relationships, empathetic listening helps prevent misunderstandings and fosters trust. Here's how it works in practice. 1. Show you're ready to listen. Verbally invite your partner to share their thoughts. For example, "I'd really like to hear what you think about this." And use open body language. Leaning in slightly, maintaining eye contact, or nodding can make a big difference. 2. Don't interrupt. Let them finish what they're saying without cutting in. 3. Ask clarifying questions. If something isn't clear, don't be afraid to ask. This shows you're genuinely trying to understand. 4. Acknowledge their honesty. Even if you disagree, thank them for opening up. 5. Respect silence. If your partner isn't ready to talk yet, give them the time they need. 6. Step into their shoes. Try to imagine their perspective, their feelings, motives, and experiences. A particularly useful technique here is role reversal. By imagining how your words or actions might feel from their perspective, you not only deepen your understanding of them, but also get a fresh, critical look at your own behavior. Once both partners have clearly expressed their needs and feelings, the next step is obvious. Work together to find a solution. Key 5. We can't change the past, but we absolutely can shape the future by setting clear agreements. When a conflict ends without a concrete resolution, it often leaves lingering tension and chips away at trust. That's why it's crucial to wrap up difficult conversations with a mutual agreement that works for both partners. Some examples might sound like, "Let's agree that from now on, does that work for you? Next time, we'll handle this differently." These agreements often involve creating new ground rules to prevent similar issues down the road, such as, "Let's avoid raising our voices during discussions. No personal attacks." If either of us needs a pause during a conversation, we'll explain why. A real agreement leaves both partners feeling a sense of relief and clarity. It's a commitment to prioritize the relationship over the conflict, a choice to grow together rather than letting disagreements pull you apart. Key 6. The sandwich method is a clever way to deliver criticism in a way that feels constructive rather than harsh. Essentially, you sandwich your critique between two positive statements. Here's how it works. 1. Start with something positive. For example, I really appreciate how supportive you always are. It means a lot to me. 2. Address the issue. Then, share your concern. But when you're late, it makes it hard for me to stick to our plans. 3. End on a positive note. Wrap up with reassurance. I know you're doing your best, and I'm confident we can avoid this in the future. This approach softens the emotional impact of criticism, making it easier for your partner to hear and respond to your concerns without feeling attacked. Key 7. Here's a hard truth. Expecting your partner to instinctively know what you want is a recipe for frustration. No one, not even someone who knows you inside and out, can read your mind, no matter how obvious you think your needs might be. To avoid misunderstandings, express your feelings, needs, and expectations clearly. For example, it's really important to me that you support me on this. Encourage open dialogue. Ask questions like, what do you need in this situation? How can I help you? In healthy relationships, both partners genuinely want to make each other happy. But to do that, they need to know what will actually bring that happiness. Don't hesitate to communicate openly. It's the foundation for deeper, stronger, and ultimately happier connections. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Stay with us for more.